Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says the Senate will vote this morning on a bill to fund the government and into December and avoid a shutdown. The House will then have to pass the bill and send it to President Biden's desk. But a House-passed bill to raise the federal debt limit is expected to fail in the Senate today. And the fate of the Senate-passed bipartisan infrastructure bill is far from certain in the House. Speaker Nancy Pelosi has said that the chamber would vote on the measure today. But a group of progressive Democrats wants to hold off until lawmakers can agree on what will be in the president's multi-trillion-dollar budget proposal. Joining us now to talk about all this, Council of Economic Advisors member Jared Bernstein, who, does anyone know the president better than you, Jared? And I you know, we always have a meeting. We always have a meeting of the minds, though, you know, that we do. And you're always honest with me, although you're very smooth in explaining
smooth
things.
And honest.
The president used to be seen as a real moderate. And you've seen what's written now about whether he's, I don't know, the progressives maybe have too much of his ear at this point. Are you on board for everything in the $3.5 trillion, or some people say it's as much as $5 trillion? And you know some of the gimmicks. We're only going to do some of these things for a couple of years, but you know they're going to be extended, and it's going to cost a lot more.
Sure. Well, first of all, let me say that I can think of no better place to spend the last day of the third quarter than with y'all. So thank you for inviting me. First of all, I don't think labels like moderate really describe much these days in terms of what's on the docket here. And secondly, it's not so much what I think of these things, it's what the American people think of them. These proposals, whether it's investments in infrastructure, hard infrastructure, roads, bridges, broadband, safe drinking water for kids who are faced with lead in their pipes and the implications of that for their brain development, the idea of investing in the care side of the economy, in child care, in elder care, in cutting prescription drug costs for middle-class families, in cutting taxes for 50 million middle-class families and 4 million small businesses. This is what the American people want to see. And that's just not me speaking. Every one of the ideas that I just put forth polls at a level of around 2/3 to 80% with Americans across the board. So what the president is doing here, I wouldn't call it moderate, progressive. I'm not sure where you'd put it on the continuum, because I don't think the continuum, the political continuum, is really what matters here. I think what matters at the heart of it is the extent to which the American people need, and the American economy desperately needs, this investment that's on the docket today. And that's why we're pushing so hard to get these legislation over the goal line.
Jared, we need those words just to describe some of what we're seeing in terms of the intra-party disagreements and squabbles in the Democratic Party. And I understand what you just said about what people want, but then the moderates that seem to be dug in pretty deep, and I'm talking about in the House and the Senate, they all have constituents that they are considering that don't want all this done. I mean, okay, Manchin's in West Virginia, maybe that's an outlier. Arizona for cinema, but you know, even take some of the House guys that are in New Jersey or New York, or that some want SALT, some other moderates that aren't for the hook, line, and sinker of this.
When you're talking,
they may be gone, and that's what you'll hear people say.
So look,
that Speaker Pelosi's throwing them to the wolves. That by 2022 they're going to be gone if they vote for all this.
Hold on. So first of all, when you're talking about two packages of these magnitudes and a political body of 535 people, yes, you're going to have lots of squabbling and lots of folks arguing about we want this, we want that, we want less of this, we want more of that. What I'm here to tell you, and I've been party to many of these meetings, that all of this squabbling has been amplified to a point that we're missing the key theme here, the key thread. And the key thread is that every Democrat to whom I've spoken, and every Democrat that the president has met with, and by the way, when it comes to infrastructure, a lot of Republicans too, are all rowing in the same direction. Now, they're not always in the same boat. Some boats are bigger than others, but they're all rowing in the same direction. If you're talking about Joe Manchin, if you're talking about Kristen Sinema, we have heard them consistently talk about parts of these plans that are critically important to them. Just yesterday, Joe Manchin was talking about the importance of injecting fairness into the tax code, talking about the importance of rolling back some of the policies that were amplified in the last administration that tax work over wealth. This president has proposed to flip that and to pay for these initiatives so that they don't add to the deficit, to pay for these initiatives with a deep set of tax fairness policies that reward work over wealth. And that's something that many senators have agreed upon from all over the political spectrum. So once again, I underscore that instead of sort of trying to figure out what Senator A versus Senator B wants and top line numbers, the key thing to do is to drill down in the extent to which the American people support cutting costs, lower prescription drugs, child care, elder care. So, covering up potholes that break your car, getting across the bridge so you can get home. These are practical things that help the middle class move forward, financed by progressive taxation that taxes wealth over work, something we haven't done in this country for many decades.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.